Well, hey everybody, this is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, November the 19th. Hey, want to tell you something real quick before we get to the fishing reports. The loft is expanding. We're going to be adding on to the back end of the loft, more peg space, more tackle, more stuff that you want. To clear some of that room, we're having a lose rod sale. Any lose rod is going to be cost plus $10 plus tax until supplies last. Come on in and get yourself a great quality rod. Just trying to clear out a little bit more space so that we can make that loft bigger and better for everybody. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to get to Josh Herron, Tracy Robinson, Gentry Gordy, and Lee Pitts. We're going to talk fishing reports in our lakes. We'll be right back with what the guys have to say. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, November the 19th. How's everybody doing on this Saturday morning? We got Tracy Robinson, who's going to spend some time talking with us about Guntersville. Tracy, I think I'm going to go out, put my Falcon and my Mercury up there on the water. What do I want to do at Guntersville?
Well, Dano, moving baits right now and moving a lot is one of the keys. It turned winter overnight here the past week, so you know what that does to the fish. It puts them on the move. Yep. So they've been in that kind of mode of heading up these creeks, following the bait fish in, and they're probably going to do an about face if these temperatures continue that water temperature starts dropping down a lot colder. They're going to get out of those really shallows and those pockets and kind of start heading back towards the main lake. This last week, a lot of A-rig fish are being caught. I saw some really significant numbers, 50-plus fish from a couple of different anglers throwing the A-rig, just chasing bait fish, really. So bait's still the key, jerk bait, A-rig, crankbaits even, but following those bait fish is going to be the key. So if you're going up there right now, the fish are going to be on the move, but find the bait fish. I know that's a broken record, but that's the key right now.
Well, you can have bait with no bass, but you can't have bass with no bait. I know that's the law. There's got to be a crappie bite going on right now, or maybe even a striper bite with some of that. Are you hearing anything out of there?
Definitely so, and not just Guntersville, but all the lakes in this area. I'm seeing a lot of big crappie pictures, some really big numbers at Guntersville and at Weiss. My partner, Mike Carter, he guides for crappie, and I've seen his pictures every day. He's got a lot of big pictures right now coming in of some 12 to 15-inch crappie on the upper end of the lake. They're fishing mostly, ditch mouth type stuff, so running off the main river, but they are catching a lot of big crappie up there right now.
So you said I need to run. How much fuel would I need to run through my Mercury, and how much space on the lake do you think I'm going to cover?
That lake is so full of fish, Dano. You don't have to run all over the lake. You just got to be able to get to where you can kind of work away from either out on that main lake, checking some of that main lake stuff out there closer to the river ledges, and be somewhere where you can get away from that. Mid-lake area, you've got South Salty, you've got Seabold, you've got, State Park there where the town creek is. They're going to be somewhere between that river and the back of those creeks. There's just giant schools of fish, giant schools of bait fish in every one of those. So you don't really have to run around from one end of the lake. Just pick an area that's got some lake stuff, main lake stuff, and it's got some creek stuff. And you're going to run into the bait fish in that particular area of the lake, somewhere between those 2 points.
I know I look forward to that time of the year when I can run around, fire up that Mercury Pro XS 250 and fish those creek mouths and ditches with a rattle trap. It's one of my favorite things to do by pulsing it. Tracy, Thanks a bunch, man. Appreciate everything, and we'll talk to you again next week. Well, good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, November the 19th. We're joined by our good friend, Gentry Gordy, who spends an awful lot of time down there on the lower end of Alabama fishing. We're going to talk Jordan Lake. We're going to talk Lake Martin. Hey, Gentry, let's start with Jordan Lake right now. We know you spend quite a bit of time down there. If I'm going to go drop that Falcon Mercury in there, where do I want to go, and what do I want to do?
Well, if you want to have fun, you need to start looking. It's finally happening with this cold weather, Dano. You can start to get in some of these pockets with your chatterbaits and your rattle traps. And if you come across, a lot of grass on Jordan, and it's dying off. And when you come up to those big dead mats, they're holding some heat, because the vegetation's dying off, the sun's on them. The big largemouth now is finally starting to get up under these mats. Yeah, you can still go out to eat and catch them spotted bass up, an 80-foot over those balls, up underneath those balls of shad. But that ain't fun to me. But it's finally happened. You can start to get on the banks now, and they're starting to make that push. This cold weather's here. I think it's here to stay.
Is it something that I want to go just throw reaction baits, or do I need to be able to flip some of that stuff as well?
I Reaction baits is for, like your chatterbaits, your spinnerbaits, and stuff like that. Until just down your docks and all that, and slow down when you get to your mats or your grass, and then punch it.
Yeah,
they're laying right up underneath that dead grass. It's fun to me when they get to that point.
Yeah, I hear you. That is a lot of fun when that big head comes out.
Yes.
All right, let's turn our attention to Lake Martin. I know I can run a bunch of gas through that Mercury there. Tell me where I want to be. Save me some time. What do I want to be doing on Lake Martin?
Let's say you put in at Wind Creek. Dano, you can start, a couple 100 yards outside the marina. Those fish are everywhere. I've still not seen shad breaking surface. It may happen with this cold weather. I haven't been to Martin since we've had these couple of days. But from experience, your top water's fixing to pick up as soon as this water stabilizes. But anything that has a rock bottom on it, Martin's not. There's rock points with stumps on it. Throw one side of your boat and hit one, throw the other side and hit another. Your shaky heads, your jigs have really picked up. The jig bite has. I caught a fish up there Saturday. Man, he left a 4-inch crawfish in my live well.
Ooh.
And I thought, well, that's why they're eating the jig so good. When they start to do that, I start to get away. The shaky head will catch them 365 days a year, but it's just something about that jig bite, and it's picked up a lot.
Well, that makes me want to go drop that Falcon Mercury in there at Lake Martin because I love that kind of fishing. Hey, man, thanks for spending the time with us, Gentry. We'll talk to you again next week.
Well, call me. I'll meet you at Martin. We'll jump in the boat.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
Take care, brother.
Well, good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, November the 19th. Hey, we're joined with our Bass Cat Mercury Pro, Josh Herron. Josh, we want to talk a little bit about Logan, Martin, and Lay Lake. Tell us what's going on down there.
Man, we're going to go boldly into the cold. Stuff's finally here, man. Fixing to get where it's going to be like a straight-up rock deal. This is like one of my favorite times of the year to fish is once it actually starts getting cold. So you're going to start getting to target more stuff that's a little bit more vertical. Any of these creek channel swings, stuff where these fish are really pushing back. Red clay is going to start playing really big, especially on Logan. Lay showed out a little bit last weekend. Numbers were down, but size was up. There was an 8-pounder caught down there.
Oh, wow.
Which is a Coos River dinosaur.
Yes, it is.
For the current times. But, yeah, man, I think it's going to set up to start getting a whole lot better pretty quick.
So when you're talking about rocks and you're talking about red clay, what kind of techniques do you want to use around that kind of stuff?
Later on in the winter, it's going to be start moving to traps. But right now, you can jerk it, you can throw a scrounger, you can throw a shaky head. You're looking for that rock that's hand size, your head size, and talking about that stuff that's laid out there in 5 or 6 feet of water. Those fish are going to pull up kind of shallow on and feed, and that stuff holds heat through the night. So as these water temperatures start dropping, these fish are, they're no different than anything else. They start looking for warm spots.
Is it something that you might want to start looking at throwing some square bills, maybe a flat side crankbait type things? Balsa, real slim stuff right now? Yeah,
once water temp breaks about 55 degrees, those fish really start getting on those slimmer baits. Right now, you can still do like the RC 2.5s, BDS 2s, any of the round traditional like 1.5, 2.5 style baits really work good. And as the water temperature starts to drop, you're going to get more on the flat side, like PD style baits.
Okay. I know it's probably not the kind that you want to have to turn the key on the Mercury and run. You're probably going to want to spend a little bit more time on your trolling motor right now, correct?
Yeah. It's definitely brisk. So, you can get in an area. Look for bait fish. Like I said, these fish are going to start pushing back here pretty soon, pretty hard. So, and I'm sure there's already fish back after this really cold week. So last weekend, water temps were 66, 67-ish, most on the Coosa. And I figure by the end of the weekend, we should be looking at 57, 58.
Well, Josh, as always, man, we appreciate everything and try to keep yourself warm out there when you're running that super fast Bass Cat Mercury combo. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, November the 19th. Hey, we're joined with Lee Pitts, our new Falcon Mercury Pro staff member here for Bucks Island. Lee's on his way up to fish Pickwick right now, but we wanted to find out what's going on Weiss Lake and Neely Henry, where he spends most of his year. Lee, We know you're firing that gas through that Mercury. What's going on up there on those 2 lakes right now?
Well, this is what we've been waiting on. Things are kind of picking up a little bit. We've got a little touch of winter, so it's dropping that water temperature down. And on the crappie end of it, things are picking up a little bit. This week, we've had to battle with the winds again. But when you can get out of those winds, still fishing deep, dropping that live bait and some of those Bobby Garland baits down there deep, we're catching not only good size fish, but also catching some smaller fish too. So that's a good thing. That means the fish are coming up. They're starting to feed. It's the crappie end of things are picking up. You can catch them different ways, from dropping live bait or jigs down there deep to shooting docks.
I know that takes care of the crappie bite on Weiss and Neely Henry because they're both about the same. What's going on in the bass bites on those 2 lakes?
Bass bites picking up. A lot of guys that I'm talking to catching numbers, catching a lot of fish. On Weiss this last week, they had a little tournament out of Riverside and had about probably 30 boats in it. But man, buddies, he went out there and smoked them. He still stayed around wood cover, fishing wood, fishing some of the harder spots, had 23 pounds. So I don't care what time of year it is. You catch 23 pounds, that's doing something. A lot of the guys, they had an 18-pound stringer and a 19. This is on Weiss. And most of the guys that I talk to, they're catching numbers. It's just who can put those couple of big fish in the boat.
Well, I know that the bass bite's getting a little bit better. We're starting to see some moving baits. Neely Henry, I'm starting to see pictures of a lot of our better anglers that are putting some quality fish up there. What are you hearing out of Neely Henry?
Yeah, Neely is picking up also. A lot of the guys that I think they're still doing the same thing. They're still staying up there with that spinnerbait, a little crankbait, and just knocking around out towards the river channel and getting them back to some of these pockets. But now the fish are really starting to react. I know the big largemouth are starting to bite real good there. Still got a little bit, even though it's cold, a little topwater bite, small buzz bait, and I think a lot of the guys are going with something that can slow down, like a chug bug or a spook or something like that, and pop around there. Just something that'll disturb that, the surface. Neely's looking real good, bass fish right now.
Well, Lee, as always, we appreciate it. Thanks to our Falcon Mercury Pro staffer, Lee Pitts, on the time with us. We'll talk to you again next week, buddy. Well, that'll do it for our Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, November the 19th. Thanks to everything that you do to be a part of Bucks Island. Hey, don't forget, coming up this 17th, we're going to close down after the 17th for Thanksgiving holiday to spend some time with our families. We'll be reopened the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. Have a great Thanksgiving. If you need something you want to get in here today before we shut down, we will talk to you again soon, but we'll be bringing the fishing report to you during Thanksgiving week. Thanks again. We will talk to you again next week.